Walmart proved capitalism is the best form of socialism. So even if you're a die-hard commie who avoids shopping at your local store, sooner or later you'll have to spend your money in a Walton-owned outlet. Or worse, you might have to earn your money in a Walton-owned outlet. That's because, to some people, Walmart has proved planned economies can work, even if lefties and right-wingers could never admit it. So put on the bib and start doing the happy clap dance. You won't escape the People's Democratic Republic of Walmart forever. And you can stop worrying about Amazon, Tesla, and OpenAI too. They might follow the 21st century corporation rulebook, but it was Walmart who rewrote the rules. That's why all roads lead back to Sam Walton's ultimate mum and pop store. This is the company that's shaping society. Walmart took the blueprint for an economic system and molded it in its own image. Aggressive pricing, cutthroat distribution, cultish worker environments. They might be standard industry practices now, but they originate from a tiny store in Arkansas way back in the mid-20th century. Flash forward over 50 years, and that small vendor of general merchandise has grown into an integral part of American society, culture, and politics. In fact, it's a bigger deal than you could ever imagine. Which was all part of the plan. Walmart doesn't want you to notice how they operate. They want you to focus on their discount goods and kooky workplace environments because that way you won't figure out how they control the system at every level. Sure, a few of their international attempts didn't emulate the success of a homegrown superstore, but they have enough inroads into Europe to make up for it. They cracked the code to ensure that their business model is as robust as can possibly be. The irony is, the best way to win in capitalism is to do what the communists failed to do: dictate supply and demand without the market. Walmart makes local economies dependent on them, which means fighting back will only hurt ourselves. Can't live with them, can't live without them. So how did Walmart pull it off? It all starts when Sam Walton was born in Kingfisher, Oklahoma in 1918. Young Walton grew up in the Great Depression, so he saw how unstable work was and how expensive everything was getting. He especially saw how business and community were intertwined. That observation became more evident the more his family moved across Missouri in search of employment. Young Sam Walton helped by selling magazine subscriptions, running paper routes, and milking cows. Whatever surplus was left over from the family bovine was sold to locals to create another revenue stream. This period likely taught him how good business is repeat business, and how repeat business comes from the community, not the gambles on the stock market. Usually billionaires make their money through risk-taking, but Sam Walton saw how that devastated Americans at the start of the 20th century. To him, it was vital to find a business model which could withstand market volatility and Wall Street shenanigans. That's why he was excelling in school and athletics while honing his business skills. Seriously, this guy was grinding almost a century before hustle culture existed. But he wasn't hitting the books and the gym in some red pill attempt to climb the social ladder. He had seen how interconnecting complementary skills increased your chances of success better than putting all your eggs in one basket. That's why he was voted most versatile boy when he graduated high school. By 1940, he had finished university with a degree in economics to combine with his growing business experience and taste for the grind. Sam Walton was ready to take on the world. He hit the ground running with a management trainer position for J.C. Penney, but had to put that on hold when he was called to fight in World War II. Afterwards, he made up for lost time with his first real taste in retail, managing a Ben Franklin variety store which he bought when he was 26 years old. He had to borrow $20,000 from his father-in-law, plus put down the $5,000 he had saved from the army, but it was worth it. Ben Franklin was a chain of what's known as five and dime stores. Basically, they offer general merchandise across a range of interests and hobbies, and usually operate in small towns. Think of them like a hub for a community. Sound familiar? I'm not saying Walton got the idea for Walmart from Ben Franklin's, but I am saying he got to road test his own concepts with a degree of stability offered by buying into a franchise. Things like price matching, maintaining stock levels, and keeping his finger on the pulse of what his local consumers wanted. The problem was, it was too successful. His landlord noticed how Sam Walton had transformed this Ben Franklin into a commercial powerhouse, so he wanted it for himself. The landlord had a family history in retail, so figured getting hold of this bustling store would be a good thing for himself, so he refused to renew the lease to Walton, which forced Sam to take the plunge of buying a new place outright. When he found a suitable lot, he was careful to stipulate that the 99-year lease permits him to expand into the shop next door. It took a few negotiations and a secret offer by Walton's father-in-law, but by May 9th, 1950, Sam Walton had a new Ben Franklin store to call his own. Tough lessons had been learned, yet all would be linchpins in Walmart's eventual business plan: location, community, pricing. Flash forward a few years and Walton owned a few stores, yet none bore his name. That changed on July 2nd, 1962. In Rogers, Arkansas, when the first true Walmart opened its doors. Although at the time it was actually called the Walmart Discount City Store. What separated this new venture from his previous successful shops was how this one was going to double down on the community by only selling American products manufactured by American companies, provided they could supply merchandise for his entire chain at low prices. Frugality was vital. Sure, he'd grown up in the Great Depression, so had seen how far a penny could stretch, but the real reason for a frugal approach was because he knew how easy it was to lose customers over a minor cost difference. This strategy meant he could keep competition at bay whilst also becoming integral to local economies. He'd already seen how easy it was for the rug to be pulled out from under him, so by making sure consumers had a vested interest in keeping him around, meant he had a brand loyalty that other companies simply didn't have. If consumers didn't shop at his stores, it hurt them locally. Think of it like mutually assured destruction. It paid off big time. By the late 1960s, Walton's vision expanded beyond regional dominance. He had 24 stores generating $12.7 million. Walmart had gone national. At the time, it was clear to see how customer satisfaction and employee empowerment were central to developing this empire. Sam Walton even said he wouldn't have been able to grow without treating workers as partners. However, that utopian vision didn't last long. Pretty soon, Walmart's human principles fell by the wayside. As his empire grew, major decisions were centralized, which shifted the structure of his company and capitalism forever. It's time to learn how history works as we dissect how Walmart redefined capitalism. Today's episode is sponsored by Brilliant. Brilliant is the ultimate platform for anyone who wants to not just learn, but truly grasp complex concepts. With thousands of interactive lessons spanning math, science, and technology, it makes learning both engaging and effective. I'm especially excited about their new How AI Works course. It dives into the inner workings of language models, showing how they learn and generate text. Whether you're just curious about AI or considering a career in tech, this course offers a hands-on way to explore one of today's most powerful technologies. I've been going through the course myself, and it's incredible to see how different models function and how they can be fine-tuned for various tasks. Whether it's writing poetry or drafting professional emails, Brilliant makes complex topics like this approachable, even if you're completely new to them. And the best part? You can learn on your own schedule, seamlessly fitting Brilliant's interactive lessons into your daily routine, whether you have just 5 minutes or a full hour to dive in. To explore everything Brilliant has to offer, including their new How AI Works course, for free for 30 days, head over to brilliant.org/howhistoryworks or click the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Walmart's business model is rooted in low prices. Why? It's simple, really. If a customer can get it cheaper elsewhere, then they will shop elsewhere. Brand loyalty will only take you so far because the wallet always has the final say. In fact, Walmart has a name for this: Everyday Low Prices, or EDLP. It's the single most important method of success, but pulling it off is easier said than done. So how did Sam Walton do it? Walmart realized that the more stores they have, and the bigger the stores are, the more volume they'll have to spread the costs of distribution and bulk buying. That might seem obvious in a world where Amazon fulfillment centers will deliver your impulse orders by drone, but in a world before the internet, this type of infrastructure was a mammoth achievement. And with operations of such scale, it makes it easier to pressure suppliers to offer the best deals. And it lets you negotiate with manufacturers directly. This puts competitors in a precarious position. Rivals could have the hot new item at the lowest price, but not have the stock to prevent consumers from searching elsewhere. Or maybe they have the stock and the price, but the location is farther away than the nearest Walmart. Or they have the location and the stock, but the extra 40-minute drive will save the customer money in the long run, especially if they can pick up other items at the same time, and at everyday low prices. It's like a game of rock, paper, scissors, except Walmart gets to play with 3 hands every time. On top of that, if a competitor does get into a price war with Walmart, they won't survive the war of attrition. Walmart is so huge with so many stores and revenue streams that one location can take a hit while the company profits elsewhere. The graveyard of dead companies is filled with Walmart foes, like Circuit City, Electronic Boutique, and Radio Shack. Give or take a few buyouts to save them from bankruptcy, Walmart's low pricing wars drains the life from strip mall giants without so much as breaking a sweat. But it's not just established chains who were killed off by Walmart. Small businesses like mum and pop stores are done for whenever a Sam Walton store comes to town. This phenomenon is known as the Walmart effect. In essence, the economic landscape of a community changes to fit around a new Walmart. First, the everyday low prices drain small businesses, assuming they don't just pack up shop straight away. Next, Walmart's wider selection of items on offer incentivizes consumers to turn to Walmart for as many purchases as possible. Finally, Walmart hires the former, or soon-to-be former employees, either by offering higher wages or simply being the dominant player in the area. Once that's happened, a local area is dependent on Walmart for everything: where to go, where to pay, and where to earn. From here on out, Walmart can reduce wages, reduce job opportunities, and, in general, exploit workers by smashing unions and removing degrees of job security. In the blink of an eye, the dynamics change to make Walmart the sole buyer in many markets. That way, it's not just consumers who are dependent on Walmart's supply chain, but the suppliers themselves. This renders a local Walmart a monopsony, which is different to a monopoly. Monopoly is more or less when a company is the only one of its type in the market, but consumers can shop elsewhere, even if Walmart is hard to resist. A monopsony is when a market has only one buyer. The consequence is that Walmart boosts its leverage over suppliers, and can even dictate producers to cut their costs. Fail to comply, and Walmart can turn to a manufacturing competitor. If this sounds like a form of exploitation to you, then congratulations, you are correct. But it doesn't matter whether you're a shopper or supplier, Walmart will make you an offer you can't refuse. Yet there's an ironic twist. By operating in this way, Walmart effectively turns local areas into centralized, planned economies within capitalism. What does that mean? Well, for the longest time, the strongest argument against the dreams of socialism and communism was that deciding supply and demand without using the market was impossible. Even something as seemingly simple as making sure there were enough toothbrushes for a populace becomes an insurmountable challenge. A bureaucracy would have to decide how many bristles a toothbrush had, and another would chair a committee to determine the colour of the handle. Then there were quotas to meet, and failed quotas to cover up. Simply put, there would be too many variables for humans to decide effectively and efficiently, especially if the humans in question were bureaucrats. But Walmart has proved the communists right, according to the People's Republic of Walmart, although the likes of the Cato Institute disagree. In the book, the authors argue that Walmart's advanced logistics and data-driven supply chains are so efficient that resource allocation can operate without relying on internal markets. How is that possible? How can a billion-dollar empire like Walmart make money without letting its customers determine its stock supply? Well, because of cross-docking. That's when goods are transferred directly from inbound to outbound shipments at distribution centers without the need for long-term storage. like a game of hot potato played on a national scale. Costs for warehousing decrease, delivery times shrink, and inventory is more precise. And with a centralized decision-making process, especially with the emergence of new technology like AI, Walmart's supply chain becomes more and more accurate. So why don't socialists champion Walmart as the solution for a workers' paradise? Because of the risk of authoritarianism. Take a look at how Walmart's centralized decision-making screws over the little guy. Walmart is the world's 4th largest employer after the Pentagon, China's People's Liberation Army, and India's Ministry of Defense. And it's the world's largest private employer with 1 million more employees than its nearest competitor, Amazon. Yet despite having over 2.1 million associates worldwide, you'll be hard-pressed to find an employee with positive things to say. Employee turnover is as high as 70% in some stores, which is a huge drop in loyalty for a company that started out offering career advancements. Those who do stick around report high levels of stress due to overseeing large teams and demanding workloads, which contributes to a revolving door of low-paid workers. But that's how Walmart wants it. Everyday low prices also apply to their labor forces. And you can forget about unionizing. Employees frequently go on anti-union training sessions. Walmart doesn't want loyalty anymore, it wants indoctrination. Morning cheers and team-building exercises have been reported to be cult-like. But what can you do when it's the only employer in town? Locals have no choice in where to go, so are coerced into accepting poor conditions and demeaning treatment. Good luck taking them to the courts. Walmart wields immense influence at local, state, and national levels. Between 2010 and 2020, Walmart spent around $73 million on lobbying, making it one of the most active corporate lobbyists in the US. By comparison, the biggest lobbyists are tech giants, so even if Walmart's spending is less than Google and Facebook, the fact it's such a big Washington player despite being a brick-and-mortar business is nothing to downplay. They'll use data on their job creation and local tax revenue to persuade officials to support its expansion, despite protest from local communities. So if Walmart fails at one level, it can pivot to another, ensuring that it also knows which politician to turn to. So why don't your elected officials take a stand? Well, because closing a Walmart can have such a devastating impact on the local economy that it would be career suicide to intervene. Add to that its knowledge and experience in supply chains, and Walmart is a useful partner in global trade. With a position like that, Walmart can influence global labor standards, trade agreements, and even environmental regulations, all in the name of everyday low prices. With a robust business plan like this, you wouldn't be wrong for thinking that Walmart is too big to fail. Yet even Sam Walton's planned economies couldn't survive in Europe. Back in 1997, Walmart sought to replicate its huge US success by acquiring 2 local chains in Germany. Unfortunately, they underestimated cultural differences and European bureaucracy. For starters, Germans were perplexed by the morning cheers. People say that the European mind cannot comprehend a Walmart store, and that proved to be true. On top of that, strict price regulations halted Walmart's aggressive cost-cutting strategies immediately. Yet, Walmart stuck it out for almost 10 years, determined that once their stores caught on, Europe would be theirs for the taking. Unfortunately for them, they lost $3 billion, so they closed shop in 2006. However, Walmart had another plan. In 1999, Walmart acquired Asda, a discount supermarket chain in the United Kingdom. They'd hoped this springboard would lead to market dominance, but British customers were already familiar with Asda's low prices and produce ranges, which meant Walmart had little room to differentiate itself. If that wasn't embarrassing enough, Walmart failed to understand how British geography wouldn't align with their out-of-town megastores. The UK is denser than the US, and much less car-centric. We had walkable city centres before the creation of the USA. Like, seriously, what did Walmart think was going to happen? British and European shopping habits are completely different. We don't drive 40 minutes in a pickup truck to a megastore out in the middle of nowhere. We walk 5 minutes, yes, 5 whole minutes to the nearest shop to get that one thing we forgot to buy. On top of that, Walmart was flanked by established players like Tesco and Sainsbury's on one side, and rising European discount chains like Lidl and Aldi on the other side. Throw in a few more regulations to block expansion and acquisitions, and by 2021, Walmart had decided to sell most of its stake in Asda. So maybe there is a way for smaller competitors to take on Walmart's planned economies. They just need to band together, surround their rival, and stop with the strange dancing rituals. That said, America has more space and more roads for Walmart to take advantage of, plus the resources to set up wherever it wants. Whether or not socialists want to champion Walmart's infrastructure, the knock-on effect on workers makes it a hard pill for a left-winger to swallow. As for capitalists, they'll sing praises for Walmart's profit margins, even though it could end their economic system faster than they'd like to think. Either way, Walmart is here to stay. Love it or hate it, it offers a degree of stability, even if the cost of low prices means citizens end up paying for it in ways they never expected. If you liked this video, check out our one on how the CEO of General Electric broke corporate America forever. And be sure to subscribe to keep learning how history works.